If you didn't see my text review of Captain America Brave New World over on the community tab of my YouTube channel, I'll sum it up by saying I thought the movie was a mess, but a well-intentioned mess. Clearly, the guys over at Marvel realize there's a problem here and are now actively trying to fix it. Brave New World had very noticeable flaws, but its best moments did make me hopeful for Thunderbolts, the follow-up installment of the MCU. Was that hope warranted? Let's find out. Thunderbolts follows a group of complete nobodies. No, really, that's kind of the point of the movie. The main characters are all a bunch of B-tier characters at best, and if you know the comics, you'll know that's really on brand for the team. Though that's kind of where the similarities end between the movie and the comics. The lineup consists of White Widow, Black Widow's sister, US Agent, replacement Captain America #1, Bucky, the only popular member of the team, Ghost, Shadow Cat but a criminal, and Red Guardian, replacement Captain America #2. They all find themselves involved with a mysterious man named Bob and a government cover-up being carried out by Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina de Fontaine. Now, the first comparison a lot of people will make is to DC's Suicide Squad. Team of villains or anti-heroes have to come together to take down a larger threat, all the while dealing with some shady deep state stuff and some personal traumas. And you know what? Fair enough. Remember the first Suicide Squad movie, the one with Will Smith as Deadshot and Jared Leto as Joker? Well, Thunderbolts reminded me of that movie, if it was, like, good? Yeah, I'm spoiling it right now. Thunderbolts is a good movie. Not fantastic, not life-changing, but a notably better movie than most of what we've gotten from the MCU recently, on the level of Deadpool and Wolverine and No Way Home, I would say. Thunderbolts takes it upon itself to do some analysis on its key players. These are all people with regrets and past mistakes who have kind of resigned themselves to the notion that they're not the good guys and they will never be. The movie creates this scenario where they have to confront their dark pasts and become better people, become heroes. Most of the cast gets some pretty great development. Florence Pugh and Lawrence Pullman in particular get some powerful emotional scenes where they really get to flex those acting muscles. And I can easily say that Yelena and Bob are the two best parts of the movie. Coming in a close second are John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell, and Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. Walker here is portrayed as a lovable asshole basically, but he's also very competent. He's in the right more than once, he has valid reasons for being the way he is, and you can tell that despite his confrontational exterior, he's a true hero. Also, and I know this is just personal preference, but his US agent costume looks much cooler than the actual Captain America costume Sam Wilson wears. Moving on, the way Red Guardian comes into the plot feels a bit contrived. It's like, oh, lucky he just happened to be listening in on this incredibly relevant conversation. Other than that, though, the character is great. He's the comedic relief for the movie, and my theater laughed out loud more than once with his stuff, so I say he does the job pretty well. Despite this, he does get some serious moments. Harbour is a gifted dramatic actor, and it would be a waste to not put those talents to good use. He and Florence Pugh have some great scenes together where he gets to truly show Red Guardian's fatherly side. Speaking of Florence Pugh though, Yelena in this movie truly gets developed into the character she always should have been. I thought she was way too jokey and unserious during the Black Widow movie, so here we truly explore the deep psychological scars she has from her years as a trained assassin and child soldier. She's a depressed alcoholic, and for what's supposed to be a family movie, they get surprisingly explicit with it, which I totally appreciate. There's lots of great stuff with her. But if I had to name my favorite character in the movie, that would be Bob, played by Lewis Pullman. I can't say much about the character without going into spoilers, but Pullman's performance is genuinely fantastic. Bob is a very multifaceted character, and the actor manages to play all these different facets extremely well. There was a scene with him and the rest of the team at the end that actually made me emotional. Not even in a, oh that's well done kind of way, more like it legit struck a chord with me emotionally and reminded me of some stuff I had to deal with in my own life. I'm not kidding when I say no Marvel movie before Thunderbolts made me feel this way. None whatsoever. Very well done. Seriously. Also, I would like to mention that there is no real wokeness or political preaching in this movie, thankfully. As it may have become clear from my descriptions of the characters, the men are allowed to be competent and the women are allowed to make mistakes and have genuine character flaws. A plus in my book. Rounding out the positives, the action is okay. It's that kind of standardized action I mentioned during the Havoc review. It's there because this is a superhero movie and we couldn't very well just have the characters sit down and have conversations for 2 hours. Little generic, but it gets the job done and I won't call it bad. But I will call Valentina's secretary Mel a cutie pie. Okay, now for the negatives. Starting off, the movie has a weird structure. Act 1 basically only follows Yelena, then we get introduced to the rest of the team in Act 2, and Act 3 has them take down the big threat. Seems standard enough, but it's just weird in what is supposed to be a team outing. It would be like if in the first Avengers movie we only followed Iron Man for the first act. The choice to focus on Yelena so much for the first act instead of spreading out screen time more evenly among the cast contributes to the next issue. I mentioned before that most of the cast gets some great development, right? Well, most doesn't mean all. Bucky and Ghost specifically don't get to go in the same path of self-discovery and healing that White Widow, Bob, US Agent, and Red Guardian go on. Bucky I can forgive since he's been in several movies and a TV show, many of which have already dealt with his past trauma. But it really sucks how little development Ghost got, and I'm not saying this just because I think the actress is hot. Also, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina is kinda lame. She's not funny, she's not intimidating, she's just a slimy government official, which is fine, but the character needed to be more charming to really work. Make her deliciously evil, you know? She does get one pretty good scene where we learn a bit about her past, but that's kind of it. A bit of a waste of such a talented comedic actress. Many YouTube critics for a while now have been saying that Marvel movies have run their course, that the only way forward is to call it quits on the whole universe. I think most people can agree that at least a partial reboot to get rid of some of the controversial ideas that they put in the previous movies would be a good idea, but Thunderbolts is a pretty good argument for the continuation of the MCU. Again, it's not a masterpiece, but it's very well done. If you're simply done with Marvel movies entirely, well, I guess you just like hearing my voice then, because there's no way you were actually considering watching it. But if you don't fundamentally dislike the types of movies Marvel makes and are open to some experimentation, I think you'll find a lot to like about Thunderbolts. I know I did. I'll talk about spoilers for a bit now, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Okay, spoilers incoming in 3, 2, 1... Can you believe they originally wanted Steven Yeun for Bob? Jesus Christ, did they dodge a bullet. I mean, no offense to the actor, but that would have been a terrible choice. One, because it would have been a completely needless race swap, and two, because I just don't see Yeun doing as good a job as Lewis Pullman did. That guy transitions from Bob to Sentry to Void on a dime and makes it seem effortless. I really hope we get to see more of the Sentry, costume and blonde hair and all. The scenes where Bob started to awaken his powers were super cool, and the Void was an awesome villain. You can tell that when Sentry is fighting the Thunderbolts, he isn't even truly trying to harm them. I mean, why would he? Like he said, they're no threat to him and he's not a villain. Hopefully, I'll get to see some literally me edits of Sentry, because it's rare to see male loneliness and depression portrayed in a sympathetic light in modern movies. And yeah, the scene where Bob confronts the Void and the rest of the Thunderbolts come in and hug him and tell him he's not alone, yeah, that one got to me. Yelena's speech about not having anything in her life aside from her work, I assume will resonate with some people as well, particularly young women. Florence Pugh really delivers in this movie, and the character comes into her own. I think Bucky should be the de facto leader of the team since he's the one with most experience, but White Widow serves as the heart of the group. Like Red Guardian says, she's the one people count on when they make mistakes. Also, I don't know if this is a weird opinion, but I kinda ship Yelena and Bob. I think a lot of weirdos on social media want Yelena to be a lesbian with Kate Bishop, but I say she and Bob make for a pretty good couple. What do you guys think? Moving on, I would say poor Taskmaster, but who am I kidding? Screw the MCU version of Taskmaster. I hope they introduce the Tony Masters version of the character soon. It's good to see Marvel realize what a terrible mistake they made with that character and basically just had her show up in this movie to get killed. What is actually insane to me though is that Olga Kurylenko's name, despite the fact she only shows her face for about 3 seconds, still shows up before Hannah John Common's name in the credits. Did that woman run over Kevin Feige's dog or something? What did she do to get so thoroughly sidelined in this movie? Anthony Mackie said some people are gonna die in the next Avengers movie, and I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say Ghost is gonna live up to her name. Speaking of the Avengers, there's also the big reveal at the end. You see, these aren't the Thunderbolts after all. They're actually the new Avengers. I like that the credits recognize just how weird a lineup this is, but come on, we all know that by the time the next Avengers movie rolls around, we'll have Sam, Doctor Strange, Thor, and whoever else join. So it won't just be these guys for long. Sam threatening to sue them for use of the name is funny, but I doubt he owns the trademark. Also, Fantastic Four is coming. But yeah, in closing, Thunderbolts is pretty good, watch it if you don't hate Marvel movies. I still have some pretty big reservations about Fantastic Four, but I'll watch it if I can find someone to go with me, and yeah, that's about it. Bye-bye.